It is generally perceived that the Israelis uh, push the Americans for their objectives, and each time, since they have a strong lobby in America and they're very close to President Donald Trump, so they manage their way in getting their things done through the American president. So, do you see this pattern stopping if US has to strike a deal with Iran? Because Israel is the irritant, and it is also generally perceived that whenever there is a deal which is to be closed, it is sabotaged by the Israelis. Do you agree with it?
Yeah, I think Israel clearly has motivations that are very different from those of the United States. The U.S. is very much focused on the Iranian nuclear program. I think that from an Israeli perspective, a continuation of hostilities can only redound to its benefits. They don't have to worry about global economic impacts. They don't have to worry about the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. They are largely insulated from the effects of this war. And so the further Iran is weakened from their perspective, the better. The US calculus is much more complicated. And I think that President Trump is famously transactional. He's famously focused on his own interests and those of his country. And so, if and when we get to a situation where Israeli obstructionism is getting in the way of the US meeting its own goals and objectives, I think that President Trump will be inclined to deal very forcefully with Israel. I think the reason for the current joint effort on the part of the US and Israel is that President Trump thought that, at least for the short term, their goals were very much in parallel. They're already beginning to diverge. And again, I don't think that President Trump is going to allow the US to be deferred from its own objectives in deference to Israel. I don't think that's going to happen.